a fantastic reading year in 2024, so I'm excited to continue that on into 2025. These are some of my anticipated reads for next year. The first book I'm looking forward to is The Accomplice to the Villain. I read Assistant to the Villain, but I had no idea that another one was coming out in the series. They were really fun to read. They got like that funny fantasy magical whimsy vibe. The author, she makes TikToks. She does it in the POV of Evie and the villain, and it's so funny. Like, this actually has banter that I like. Usually I find banter in books kind of cringe, but I actually like it in these. The next one is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I really like Ali Hazelwood. She used to write Kylo Ren fan fiction. So her books, to me, give me that really nostalgic vibe of fan fiction. You can tell her writing has evolved from that style, but it still has that style, and I love that style. It's a sports romance, and normally I don't like sports romance, but I like Ali Hazelwood, so I want to give this a try. This is the third book in the Empyrean series for Fourth Wing, so I still need to read, what's it called? Iron Flame. That'll probably be one of my new reads in January, because Onyx Storm comes out January 21st. I want to see if Rebecca Yaros's writing has changed. That's why I put this on my list, even though I didn't have a high review or high praise for Fourth Wing. Is I still really liked it because I thought it was entertaining. So this is by Sarah Beth Durst. This is the next book. It's called The Enchanted Greenhouse, and I am so excited because I loved The Spell Shop. I read that earlier this year when it came out. I'm not gonna lie, I read it because it had a cat with wings on the cover. It doesn't take me much to be convinced to read a book. Look, there's another cat with wings, so I have to read it. In Spell Shop, there was a sentient spider plant, and in this one, the main character, Turlu, she makes a spell that's illegal to make, and she makes her own sentient spider plant. But I think that sentient spider plant goes with the character in the Spell Shop. I'm just guessing. This is just cozy romantic-y. I can't wait to read it because I love the Spell Shop. So this one is actually a middle grade series, but I thought it sounded really interesting. This girl named Senka goes down to the underworld. She loses her brother, and somehow she falls off of the river that she's supposed to stay on and gets lost in the underworld. Just something about this just seems so interesting, and I don't mind middle grade books, especially if they're executed well. Oh my god. Okay, I'm really excited for this one. I can't wait to see the actual cover. Okay, I loved When the Moon Hatched. That was something that was really popular. That was a romantasy that was really popular on TikTok in 2024. And this is the sequel. There was a repetition problem that I had with When the Moon Hatched, but I loved it so much. I loved the world, the creatures, the dragons, everything in it. I give it a 4-star because I enjoyed it. I am so happy that there's gonna be a sequel to it next year. I hope it looks pretty because the cover to When the Moon Hatched looks so pretty. I hope that this one doesn't have as much as a repetition issue so that I can give it a 5 stars. I can't wait to go back into that world, and I love the romance with Raven Khan. They're one of my favorite couples. So the next one is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Now, I really love Ashley Poston. I think she has really good writing. I love her stories. They have a bit of magical realism in them, like a novel love story. The main character gets stuck in her favorite romance book. The 7-Year Slip, which is one of my favorite romances I've read this year. It's about a time-traveling apartment, and the dead romantics, the main character fell in love with a ghost. This one has something to do with a songwriter and a musician that fall in love, and I can't wait to see what kind of magical realism is in this book because I think Ashley Poston writes it so well. This one is Suzanne Collins, the lady who wrote The Hunger Games. This is a prequel to The Hunger Games. Sunrise at the Reaping. Oh my gosh. Take me back to Panem. Take me back to this world. I need this now. I think Sunrise at the Reaping is about Haymitch's Hunger Games. I love The Hunger Games. That's one of the series that I grew up with, so that holds a very special place in my heart. So of course I'm going to gobble up anything that is written in this universe. Oh yeah, Brandon Sanderson! This is going to be a collection of novellas. Some of them are not going to be taking place in the Cosmere. I love Brandon Sanderson, so if you could give me anything he writes, he could write something on a napkin and I'll be like, oh! Ooh. How does this already have such a high rating? Are people rating this before they read it? Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, this is scary. I thought this was scary for the author. Hopefully all the editing and amendments made to avoid copyright issues and create a 100% original work won't F up the unrivaled masterpiece that is Manacled. I've read Manacled. It's a Draco and Hermione fanfiction, and it's a crossover with the Harry Potter world and the world of the Handmaid's Tale. It's kind of like that society, but put it in Harry Potter. This is a fanfiction that is getting traditionally published, but this one's called Alchemized. As a seasoned fanfiction writer myself, not now, back in the day, I think it is so freaking cool that these fanfiction writers are finding ways to repurpose their stories, hopefully in a way that they are happy with, to get traditionally published. I think that is so freaking cool. I'm really excited to read it, and I have very high expectations for it. I feel like a lot of people are feeling that way, so I'm sure the author can deliver. But for the author, this must be like having all these expectations on you before you've even published it is kind of jarring. So I hope that it turns out well for everyone. This one is called The Haunting of Room 904. I love haunted motel stories. Those are some of my favorite horror stories, especially if it's a rundown motel in the middle of nowhere. I think those are so creepy. This is pretty much that. I read earlier this year, it was one of the first books I picked up this year, The Sundown Motel. I read that earlier this year and I really enjoyed that. I've been looking for another haunted motel story, so I hope this delivers the vibes that I want. This is a whole bunch of short stories set in the world from Stephen King's The Stand. So I read The Stand this year and I loved it, and when I saw that this was coming out and it was endorsed by Stephen King, I was like, yep, going on my list. I can't stop thinking about The Stand. I love that book. It was such a fun book. And another book that's actually just like it, I think I said this in my last video, was Swan Song. I read that this year and I was surprised at how similar they were. Definitely, like, no one copied anyone, but it's just they were so similar. It was like end of the world and there was supernatural elements to them, so that threw me off, but like in a good way, because it was really fun to read both of them and then compare. In this coming year, I want to read more like end of the world dystopian stories, but like with like zombies or something. So I'm very excited for this because I feel like it's gonna scratch that itch a little bit for me. One more thing I wanted to do for this video is just go over some reading goals I have for next year. I think they might be a little bit too ambitious, but I don't care. This is the way. First goal I have is I want to read the whole Wheel of Time series. I want to read all 14 books, all of them, every single one. I would also like to get through Harry Potter and the Expanse series next year. I want to set a goal of reading 50 books next year. I think with how much I've been reading this year, I think that's very easily achievable, but I also want to do more writing next year, so I set it 50 so I wouldn't feel an immense amount of pressure to get it done, because I never want reading to feel like a chore or a job. That's why I waited so long for making videos on this channel. I was afraid I would start making reading feel like a chore, and I never want that to happen because I love reading so much and it's such an amazing way to escape. So I'm trying to be very careful with the way that I do things at this channel. Oh, I also want to finish The Throne of Glass next year. I'm about 3 books in. I'm on Assassin's Blade right now. I'm reading it third, not first. So I definitely want to finish that series next year as well. Also, next year I want to only buy 24 new books to add to my physical TBR. I have 2 subscription boxes. One is the Book of the Month and one is the Outcrate, and I'm not gonna count those because I think those are just like they're just extra, so I'm already gonna have extra books coming in. But I think if I set myself only 2 new books every month, it'll just help me like be able to cull down my physical TBR, because it's getting a little out of control, which is fine. I love being surrounded by books. I'm very thankful I'm in a situation where I can have so many books, but I definitely think I need to calm down on buying. I got a library card and I've been utilizing the audiobook library that it has, and it's been amazing. They have like all of the new releases in ebook and audiobook forms. So if I really love a book, when I read something from the library, I'll just go buy it and I'll use the library to read books that I might be a little hesitant about. The next goals that I have are writing goals, and these are going to be a bit more strict for me because I really want to get, by the end of next year, I want to have a final draft ready to like start sending to people to get edited. I have a very rough draft that I did for Nano. I did all 50k words. That was one of my goals for this year, was to just like poop out a story. So my goal for next year is to really fine-tune that story story and make it exactly the way I want to tell it. Tell the story that I want to tell, that hopefully I think other people will love, I hope. Even though it's a very early rough draft, everything could change in it. I have a feeling everything is gonna change in it anyway in the next draft. So basically I have a goal to rewrite that and have a proper draft that I can maybe send to friends for feedback, send to anyone that wants to give me feedback and help me out with that. And then hopefully in 2026 I can send it to an editor and hopefully maybe get it queried. I don't know, but I'm gonna take my time with it. I'm not gonna rush it. I really want to enjoy my journey with it, and I want to include you guys in that journey. So it's called Project Moonflower. The name has a lot to do with the book, so I'm not gonna go into really much detail on what it's about. For me, it's a really touching story, and I think a story that I would love to read, so I hope other people would love to read as well. It's a long journey from something being a rough draft to being a published book in bookstores in people's hands and people reading it, and I want to document more of that, which goes into my next goal is to post more on this channel. I want to post on this channel at least once a week. I've been trying to do it, but I've just been trying to figure out what types of videos to post and what I can post and how to do things. I think I've gotten a pretty good grasp on it, and hopefully just find my people. I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Do you guys have any reading goals, maybe writing goals, any type of goals? Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know if you have any anticipated reads that you're looking forward to next year that I can maybe add to my TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. And also, if I don't see you before the new year, Happy New Year!